Starting with the Hangman. And if you are an Aries rising, this would be in your first house. This is telling you to let go of the things that bound you to the past. This is telling you to let go of old self-identities that don't serve you anymore. If you're looking at yourself in a negative light or in an old way that doesn't serve you, this is telling you to let go of that. So next we have the Strength card. And for those of you who are Aries rising, this shows up in your second house. The second house is ruled by Taurus. So this deals with finances and all things physical and materialistic, creature comforts, physical gains. Typically, this focuses on finances. And for you, this is showing that it's time to have the strength. And it's interesting, if you look at the Strength card, there's an infinity above the woman's head. And I think that a lot of times we look at strength as a one-sided thing. We see being strong and confident and powerful as strength, and we see being vulnerable as the opposite. And a lot of times we forget to look at things in terms of this infinity as this never-ending cycle, where it's not just one-sided. There's two sides to this. There's two loops, and if you look at it, in pretty much everything that you will ever experience, the opposite has to be aligned with what is actually going on. And what I mean by that is there's no good without bad. There's no happy without sad. Right? There's this idea of polar opposites, these opposing powers that contradict one another, that create this sense of completion. And here, even if you look, you see this woman is not afraid of this lion, this beast, this animal that could literally tear her apart. And in a way, this lion is showing its sense of strength by being vulnerable, being open to this woman. And she's doing the same. It's a two-way loop that is occurring. And it's kind of showing us that being vulnerable actually makes you strong. So this is showing that in a very physical, materialistic, two-dimensional sort of way, you should be open, you should be vulnerable. It's not weakness, it's strength. To allow yourself to be open and vulnerable and honest with those around you about the physical situation that you are going through. Okay. Next, we have the King of Cups. And this is kind of showing that you have everything you need. You have all of these opportunities and all of the tools that you need. So keep that in mind. And if you are an Aries rising, this would be in your third house, dealing with communication and networking and lower learning and education and knowledge. This is the house where you connect with others to help on your journey as you are learning and adapting. This house is ruled by Gemini, so this is the house of communication. And here, with this King of Cups here, this is showing you that you have all the tools, you have all the resources, you have all the opportunities that you need in order to succeed. And you may not see that, you may not feel that, but it is there, so keep that in mind. Now here in the fourth house, and I'm seeing this card a lot, and it goes along with this theme of North Node in Cancer that we are experiencing now, and it is an energy that is really going to be a huge impact going into 2019. North Node in Cancer is getting us away from this South Node Capricorn energy of restrictions, constraints, old rules, old outdated systems, old ways of doing things. And with Cancer North Node, it is bringing us into a more emotional state of being. It is bringing us into a point where we need to connect with others and have this sense of unity and be comfortable in being emotionally vulnerable and to be trusting in ourselves and others and to nurture and help others and to allow them to do the same for you. So this very Cancer-like energy of nurture and care and trust and acceptance is taking us into 2019. It's showing us that these old, outdated ways of doing things no longer serve us. These systems, these rules, these restrictions, in a way, are holding us back from moving forward. Instead, we need to join forces with others. We need to show compassion. We need to trust. We need to be emotionally vulnerable and open about how we feel and where we are on our journey. And so with this card, this is directly saying to me, release the past. Especially for those of you who are Aries rising, this is in your fourth house. The house of home and family life and childhood and the past. Right? So things, emotional traumas, emotional difficulties, things that we hold on to emotionally that reside in the past. This is saying, release that so that you can make room for the new and move forward. And with this Seven of Swords, it's especially talking about thoughts, right? Because swords represent air. So this is talking about your thinking. How are you thinking? Because your thoughts are vibrations. So therefore your thoughts create your reality. So if your thoughts are negative, if your thoughts are self-defeating, if your thoughts are on replay, trying to take you back to the past, if you have a lot of worrisome thoughts, a lot of weighing thoughts of negativity, this will affect you on your path. because your thoughts directly correlate to the reality that you are experiencing. And you are in complete control of that. So if you can find a way to release these old, negative, outdated beliefs and to release these thoughts that no longer serve you, therefore, so that you can make room for new things, for positive things, for better things, in order to move forward, then this will help you on your journey. So this is a lot of releasing that you are going to have to do. This is coming to you early January, and you probably already feel it now, as we have already started with this North Node in Cancer. And especially this week, we will be having full moon in Cancer, which is really going to amp up this type of energy, dealing with this sense of releasing and trusting and being open about how you are feeling, where you're at. So this is a huge time for you to start releasing. And in my previous video that I had done the horoscope for Capricorn, I had suggested things like meditation, things like chanting, things like writing down your thoughts and feelings and holding on to that so that you can get through this time by making a plan so that you're not repeating these old behaviors and these old patterns. You could also write it down and burn it. You could take a salt bath. There's lots of things that you can do at this time to start releasing all of this old, outdated, emotional ties to the past so that you can then move forward. And next, we have the Six of Swords. And again, this is like you want to move forward. You want to take everything that you hold dear and closest to you, all the things that you love and care about the most, you want to take that with you as you move forward. But you're also still holding on to the thoughts. These repeating thoughts in your head, these thoughts of, is the past going to repeat itself? These self-defeating thoughts. Even something as simple as thinking, I don't like myself because of my weight. How does that serve you, right? This is a time where you're going to have to release these things to move forward. And yes, you will feel like you're moving forward even if you don't release them. But you will be moving at a slower pace. And that is such a waste going into this year. This is a number 3 year. This is a time of new and fresh beginnings. And there's so many opportunities and so many ways that you can move forward at this time. So really, this is a big time for you to start releasing these old behaviors, these old thought patterns, these old ways of doing things. And this is a reoccurring theme that shows up in a lot of these horoscopes. And I will tell you that I just did the horoscope for Capricorn, and this was huge. Right? And a lot of the cards that you are getting are very similar to Capricorn. Very similar theme of you have everything you need to move forward, but you're blocking yourself because you're holding on to the past. You are not releasing these things. And with that, even as I continue to move forward, right here in this 6th house, if you are Aries rising, house of hard work and order and self-hygiene, right? Health and service. This house ruled by Virgo. You have the Moon card. And this is like, why are you still holding on to these old thoughts, these old ways of being, these old ways of doing things, right? We go back to this card, old ways of being. We go back to this card, fear of being vulnerable. We go back to this card, you have everything you need, but for some reason, we can't move forward. This card, holding on to old thoughts and limiting beliefs. This card, trying to move forward without letting go of the old. And then we come to this card, where it's like, alright, we're here. And we heard this message several times. So why is it so hard for us to move forward? And really, if you look at this is like deep emotional stuff. This is like you have to work on this deep emotional stuff. Get away from this idea of fear of being vulnerable. Get away from this idea of being stuck in the past. These limiting beliefs, these limiting thoughts, these cycles that repeat themselves over and over again. Working through these old lessons that will eventually come up again to test you. So keep that in mind. And again, even this ties into that as well. As you are releasing old things to put yourself in the spotlight on this new journey with these new ideas, these new systems, these new ways of doing things, these new feelings. And this is in your relationship house too. So this could be big for you. You know, if you have a close relationship, if you don't, this could indicate this area being an important area of your life that will be put center stage at this time. This could indicate a new and fresh start, new relationships coming in, or new way of going about at this relationship. Right? So this is, and even if this isn't in your relationship house, this is you in some way, shape, or form taking this new and fresh start. And this could be with friends as well. This is the house of partnership and relationships and marriage. This could be close friends, like best friends, right? This idea of something new, something fresh, something better. And here, you have the Fool card. And this is in your 8th house. Your 8th house of hidden feelings, hidden desires, contracts, deals, sex, all things deep and hidden, right? And with the Fool card here, this is saying to let go. You see the Fool, he's like not even realizing that he's about to fall off a cliff, right? Just kind of carefree, living life. And this is what this is asking you to do. It's not asking you to fall off a cliff, but this is asking you to let go of all that heavy, deep, emotional stuff that you're holding on to. Maybe pain, right? Emotional trauma, secrets, past mistakes. All of these deep, hidden things within you. It's asking you to release that and to be more carefree, to just live life, to have fun with it, right? And this is probably a really awesome card for you, especially if you are an Aries sun. Because this is like, Aries is like, I just want to leave all of that heavy crap behind and have a good time, right? The energetic Aries. But Aries can be very intense sometimes too. So this is remembering to release all of that heavy stuff from the past and to just live your life. To have a good time, to be carefree. Because all that heavy emotional stuff that you're holding on to is not going to help you move forward at this point. And this is mid-January. This is right in the middle. We're getting close to the end. And this is like, can you please listen to all the messages that have been coming through to you to let go of all of this past emotional weight so that you can move forward. Okay. Next we have the Four of Swords. And this is in reverse. Also, if you are an Aries rising, this would be in your 9th house. The house ruled by Sagittarius. This is the house of higher learning, philosophy, adventure, discovery, questioning, wisdom. So here, this is showing you kind of contemplating. Like, am I really going to let this go? Am I going to hide from it? Am I going to bury it deep within me? Like, what am I going to do at this point? So this is the big decision for you. And this is where you kind of have to detach yourself a little bit and go within and start questioning and figuring some things out here. This is showing you doing some questioning, some discovery within yourself of where are you going next. This is you deep in thought, trying to figure out, okay, how am I moving forward from this? And it's in reverse because this is a very important pivotal moment for you. This wants you to realize that you need to release these things so that you can move forward. This is like that big point where it's like gonna hit you in the head. Like, come on. Let's figure this out. Let's get this done. Let's move on and stop getting stuck in this. Next, we have the Four of Wands. And if you are an Aries rising, this would be in your 10th house, which is a very appropriate place to have the Four of Wands. If you are an Aries sun or moon, this is also a great place for you. You're getting towards the end of January here, and this is a time of celebration. This is a time to be proud of yourself, of all the accomplishments that you have made this month in doing this work to release some old wounds. Now notice it is in reverse. And that's because a lot of you are not going to do the work. And I hate to say that, as I want to be as positive as possible, and I want to help you on this journey. Something I had mentioned in the Capricorn horoscope is that as a reader, as a psychic reader, I will give you the tools, I will give you the advice that you need, but the work that has to be done is on you. And I can tell you that some of you are not going to be releasing in January. Some of you are still going to be stuck here. And some of you are going to need time. Some of you are going to have to wait until February, March, April, right, to start this releasing process. Some of you are not going to do it. And so don't be so quick to be like, I did it, I made it, it's over. Not quite. Not if you are not willing to put in the work. But for you Aries rising, this is in your 10th house, which is the house of success, the house of business, the house of high status. This is the highest point in your chart. This is like you're reaching for the sky. You made it, you did it, you succeeded. And this card here of great celebration is here, like you did it. But it's in reverse, like this is going to be a little bit challenging for some of you. So just keep that in mind. And as we get closer to the end, we have the Eight of Swords. And for a lot of you, this is where you will be if you don't do the work. This is where you will be if you get to this point and you're like, January wasn't the month for me. I need a little bit more time, right? This is you still being bound by your thoughts in the past and your limiting beliefs. Now, for some of you, though, as you are moving forward, you will notice that right after you have this time of celebration, this exciting, happy time where everything is great and grand, you're going to be faced with another challenge. And this is not bad luck. This is not like the universe is out to get you or anything like that. This is a lesson. This is challenging you to see if all that work that you did was just to get by, or if this is really where you are at. And for those of you who are Aries rising, this is occurring in your 11th house, the house of friendships and organizations and groups. And something you'll notice is that, yeah, your friends or your families might challenge you. They might do something to stir up the pot that brings up these emotional problems. And then you get to this point and it's another challenge. It's a challenge where you will find yourself having to deal with this again. And when you get to this point, you will have to realize that this is just a test to see where you are at. This is not a punishment. This is not bad luck. This is not the universe trying to get you. This is a test to see if all this work that you have done has really paid off and has really taught you some sort of lesson that will help you move forward. And again, as you move forward to end out the year, you get to this point, and it's sort of the same thing where it's like, this is trying to see if you're still going to stab yourself in the back, if you're still going to go through these patterns where you're repeating your same mistakes. And for those of you who are Aries rising, this is occurring in your 12th house, which deals with your subconscious and unconscious mind. This deals with these hidden things within you. So this does deal with you doing some inner work on yourself, right? Going within and tapping into your inner self and asking yourself some questions, doing some digging, which if you go back, this message has shown up in almost all of the cards that are here. This is just a reminder, right? This is coming up again because, and I'm going to say this, and I wish you all the best on this journey, but I know that some of you are going to have some difficulties. Some of you, instead of working on this in January, will end up working on this in April, right? And it's a shame because 2019 is such a beautiful year of so many opportunities and so much room for growth and fresh starts and changes. But this is showing you still like stabbing yourself in the back with all these reoccurring negative thoughts. And this is asking you to release it. And some of you at this point are going to give up. Some of you are going to throw in the towel and say it's over. Some of you are going to get to this point. You're going to see it as a challenge and you're going to continue. Some of you have already reached that point of celebration. Again, remember that we did have this card of celebration come up. Some of you are already there. Some of you really don't really need this, right? This is just a test to see where you are at. And again, with this extra card, we see the same thing, right? Judgment. This is a test to see where you're at. And this is also a test to see, are you really going to judge yourself? Are you really going to go through these patterns of negative thoughts repeating themselves? Are you really going to do this self-defeating talk? Is this really what's going to occur during this fresh new start for you? So this is questioning. This is questioning you. This is you questioning yourself. This is like, are you going to get through this challenge? Or is it going to turn into, well, I'll just do it in April? Right? Are you going to procrastinate? Are you going to give up? Are you going to actually get through this? Because the universe will test you, no matter where you are at. And we see that with 3 different cards, right? We get the confirmation here that you will be tested. So just keep that in mind. That is your January horoscope. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope everyone has a great day.